Some of you have been asking me for a DS repair for months now, so I'm really excited to disappoint you today. This video won't be a surprise to most of you since I asked you, you voted, and here we are. So here's a repair I gave up on. I am not a professional, you should not use this as a guide, this is just for entertainment purposes. Without further ado, let's see what we learn. Okay, so green light. It says our battery is full up there at the top. I unplug. It immediately goes to flashing red. So I think our battery is bad, right? That could be it. This works. Yep, works in every direction. Let's put a game in here. Okay, pick up the game. Okay, so this I think means the LCD has gone bad. Okay, so yeah, the whiting on the edge there, that's not what you want. It feels terrible. Oh, there's a screen protector on it, that's why. Okay, so every button works. Last thing to test is if we read a Game Boy game. Looks like we do. Cool. Maybe I can just get in here with a spudger and not destroy these things. Yeah, I should be able to put some tape on that and reuse it. Interesting. Why don't you want to come out? There we go. It's not pillowing. Is it just dead then? 3.7 volts. DC or AC? DC probably? We're getting 3.7 volts. We'll set this off to the side. We'll think about that. I just really don't want to break the shell, because I have no shortage of broken DS Lite shells. Do not snap back together. Do not pass go. Okay, so we want to come apart about that much, which is fine, you know, I didn't really want to see the entire thing. So this is just going to cause me issues if I don't do something about it, so let's do that. This feels pretty cringe. What do can't take apart a DS, am I right? Okay, the volume's now all the way up. That's one of the requirements, in case you didn't know. What's up then? Come on. Alright. This is it, this is the moment. I've all been waiting for it. Alright. Yep, there is something I clearly do not understand about this. That's been made clear to me, it's okay. Hey, why not? Just out of curiosity. This seems more... Nope, it does not seem anything. Forget I was saying anything at all. What in the world? What do I not get? Oh, you poor dudes. You guys are gonna be screaming in the comments. I'm so sorry. Look, if it were up to me, I wouldn't suck. You're just fine separating all the way over here. No qualms, no qualms. And then for some reason it's right here you don't want to? Gosh, baloney, Matthew. Why is this happening? I don't understand. Am I good to just pull this apart? I mean, can we just agree any damage I do to the board is justified at this point? It's got to be the power button. I have decided it is most certainly the power button. And if I destroy the power button in all this, I would be justified. What is going on? I'm so deeply confused. Why will you not come off? It feels like there's a screw, but there isn't. Why? Oh man, I regret working on this already. We haven't even opened it. I still have to disassemble at least one more of these this video. It's the power switch. It has gotta be. Was it this stuff? I'm so confused. Whew. It is not gonna be a good day. I never want to do this again. And I still have to do it a second time in this video. That still has to occur. I am not sure what this yellow stuff is. Will this easily come up? Of course this wouldn't easily come up, why would it? I'll take the flexi bit here. Let's see if it wants to get in there a bit easier. It broke this. Okay. We have at least made it to this screen, which is neat. So what do I want to do? I think we just have to replace the screen. I'm pretty dang sure that the whitening that we saw is the screen failing. So what I also wanted to see is now that there's nothing on here. Okay, it's still the same. So we do in fact need to replace this bottom screen. CPU 01. Did these have different CPU revisions? We'll figure out how to remove this later. I'm thinking I can probably just like spudgerify it maybe. I just don't like it. I mean, it's not harming anything, but the audacity. You know what I mean? I think on a visual inspection, the board looks really clean. Like really, really clean, except for the stuff. Got a problem with that. So we'll set this aside now. There's really not damage to the ribbon cable right now. There will be, and I can tell you exactly who's gonna do it. So the way that this works, if I'm understanding correctly, is that all of this has to go through at once, right? I remember this right? So we kind of lift this at just a little bit of an angle, nothing crazy. Get it slotted in there, and then slide it over to the side. How am I doing? I'm doing so good, oh my gosh. I think my screw mapping's going pretty good. Oh, nope. You know what you say? Oh, God. Oh, why did I say anything? Why say anything when this could have been an ASMR video instead? And then nobody would know what kind of idiot I am. Oh, adhesive. Okay. Good to know. I was just thinking, man, there hasn't been nearly enough adhesive holding things in. Okay. If memory serves, you kind of like pull this out. Okay. That doesn't instill confidence. I'm not super stoked about that. I mean, I see some kinks in the cable now, but I think I got away with it. I'm gonna say I got away with it. We'll find out later, I guess. Whenever I try to power it on. Maybe we remove some of this. Oh, this stuff does not come off. Wow. That is so annoying. Yeah. I am gonna think about this quite a bit. So the question is, how do I want to go about this replacement screen? Do I want to go ahead and wash its screen protector at the same time? Do I want to use my existing screen protector maybe? The one that came with this? Yeah. I don't know. The screen we're going to take already has it. Maybe this can get cleaned whenever it's removed. Yeah. Okay, well now I'm ready to clean this pile of stuff, plus some buttons and whatnot. So I'm just going to get some really hot water and do that now.
Now while we clean up the shell, I figured we'd address the yellow stuff. See, I poked at it for a while, but I realized that I was going to need an adult if I wanted to actually remove it without causing any further damage. So first I asked the Discord, link in the description, and they promoted peace while I was seeking something a little more efficient. Then I got directed to Charles, as he is the most knowledgeable person I've met when it comes to the DS. See, Charles knows something that I didn't. You can Google this stuff. Mind-boggling. Reminds me of that time that I learned about beans on toast, and how it's actually just... Charles shared a thread about the yellow stuff in question, and thanks to him, I learned quite a bit. You can either choose to believe that it prevents you from getting access to a chip for nefarious purposes, or that it's there so the board doesn't flex from the pressure on the buttons and break some solder joints. He also shared all kinds of information with me on how these work, as well as schematics for the day that I decide to destroy some traces. If you want to see a real adult at work, consider checking out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description. So, with a bit of knowledge, I realized the best way to remove this stuff was obviously to leave it on the board because I am a hazard to everything I touch, and it might serve a real purpose to protecting the board. Now with everything cleaned up, we can start working on reducing the scratches on the shiny plastics. I like to use Novus plastic polish for this. They have like a whole 3-step thing you can do depending on the condition, In our case, I just opted to use their fine scratch remover and then their cleaner afterwards. I went over it a few times with the scratch remover until I was happy enough with it before hitting it with the cleaner. On the bottom of the shell, I practiced a little more restraint, just to make sure that I didn't sand off any of the lettering while we were working on it.
All right, future Matthew. I would recommend that you go ahead and place this bit after the cleaning of the board. So we get everything ready to reassemble, and maybe even stop like mid-reassembly, and then show this clip where we're about to get the screen out of here. That's how I think you probably should edit this.
See, what that dude doesn't know is I've already imported this clip into Adobe Premiere, and like that takes ages on my computer. So we're committed, like this is where this clip goes, and he's a fool for thinking otherwise.
We're gonna go ahead and get our donor screen. So this is another DS. This one has its own set of issues and needs a hinge. It's got some shell damage. And then I've got it down here that the top screen is bad as well. So it's also in Japanese still. I mean, I could, oh, and now it's dead. I could go ahead and like easily get it not in Japanese anymore, but it just would make for a good donor here, so we're gonna do that. Okay, and that is that.
Can I poke you with one of these?
No, you may not. And then we'll just give the board a quick wipe down. All right, so that's good enough for that. So now we're actually ready to go ahead and reassemble. Okay, so now for the fun part, we gotta get the ribbon cables on this side. So I think the one to start with is the top screen ribbon cable. Could I have uncoiled that one more, maybe? Okay, so we definitely had it closer a moment ago, and that has since gone terrible. Okay. And is there a line to tell you that you're fully seated or no? Well, it wouldn't matter, I couldn't see it anyways. So that's seated. Oh, but these, oh no, okay. So this kind of sucks to like be direct about it, you know? I'm not having a ton of fun doing this. I mean, some people, not me, but some people might even say I'm not enjoying this at all. Like, I see the path, but it does not care about that path at all. Okay. I think that's finally done. I'm sure my general dissatisfaction for this arrangement has been difficult to identify. It's just, if you would stay in, then I could finish and go do literally anything else right now. So the power button can just kind of go in, and that seems to be okay. But volume really needs to be aligned. Volume and power are both good. I just want to be sure that we're good. So let me take my battery. We get a light. Do we still power on? We don't. Yeah, I had a feeling. I mean, I'll try a different battery, but all right, new day, new me, ready to get back after it. I think I know where I went wrong. So let's see what we find inside here. My assumption is that one of these ribbon cables, or maybe this is the Wi-Fi chip, maybe this isn't seated, or what, like, I'm assuming something isn't seated properly. My hope is that I didn't accidentally damage this cable. So my immediate hypothesis is this ribbon cable. Okay, I just pulled this out. It wasn't out before. Anyways, all these ribbon cables are pretty dang small. So I'm gonna take these tweezers, which I think are gonna be my best bet for good grip, and just make sure that we're seated. And it feels like we are. I wish this had a line to tell me when we were fully seated, but... Because, like, am I supposed to get this seated all the way up to this notch? Because if so, I feel like I'm going to have to use an uncomfortable amount of force to do so. That can't be right. So I think where it's currently at is correct. So now we try this ribbon cable, which, I mean, again, it looks about as seated as one would expect. Why can't I do this not at an angle? There we go. Okay, so that is as far as it wants to go. Gosh, baloney. We are calm. We are still calm. It's cool. It's cool. I'm cool. Me personally, I'm cool. This is not in any way frustrating to me. Okay. That looks more seated, does it not, than when we started? I don't know, it's definitely got some more kinks in it. Is that one actually seated far enough? I think so. Well, but this one did seat all the way up to the tabs, so maybe I just play with this a little bit more just to be sure. Because, I mean, look guys, I've never successfully repaired one of these. There's no reason for today to be the day that just magically happens. Did we get in a bit further this time? I actually think we did. Okay. Okay. Power button is not lined up. You're kidding me. Power switch broke. I mean, I can replace this, I guess. I don't really have a donor board that I want to use for that, though. Like, I have something that might be a good donor board, but I don't know yet. Okay, super glue time. So this right here. Wow, that's fuzzy. Let's get away from that. So this right here is the little bit of switch that I need to glue back on right here. And if we manage to get this just right, you can actually see where it broke off. So now I need to try to hold this in place for 45 seconds. The problem is, number one, your boy gets hand cramps. Number two, I don't even know that I get it in the right spot to begin with. And you know what? That's just not correct. So now the next problem is there is a chance that the super glue is going to bind to the casing of the power switch. So even when I go to activate this, it's just going to break again. Okay, so now that that's sat for a moment, let's see if it'll move. Shocking, it won't. And when I apply enough pressure to get it to move, what happens? This broke right off. I'm gonna do something weird. All right, dudes. This bad boy right here. This is a variable length, phallic, multi-positional control piece. So all we need to do is work out roughly how long this needs to be. Right about there seems good. And then we just take some really fine dikes. About there. And then, now that we've cut the tip off, that's exactly what I wanted. You thought I was trying to cut here, but that was wrong, okay? And as you can see, we're left with this. Now, okay, that's the right length. So the next question is, if I went with this, we've still got enough width. I'll bring you guys in so you can appreciate exactly the artwork that's going on here. Which, again, to the untrained eye, you know, you haven't seen one of these before. It may not look like much, but this is one of those like trust me bro moments. These things are fantastic. They're so good. And we pick one of these, and I think this dude looks pretty good for the job at hand. Yep, splinter him a bit more, why not? All right, now that we have a nice, really tight grip on him, you can tell by the way I keep dropping it. And then away from the DS, because we don't want that, we just put a dab, set the super glue miles away from me now, because I don't want to make a mess on myself. And this feels like it's about the right spot. Now we just give it some time. Let him grab on, figure out what he's doing. You know how this goes. Okay. So that didn't work. Don't you worry about that. That's fine. Yep. All right, so now we're ready to try another piece. Drop that, make sure that we're at a nice, beautiful 90. And again, nice and... So that's gone. Okay, so now we learn from our previous lesson. We aim down. And that is what we're left with. Okay, same deal as before. I'm just gonna get a little bit of super glue on the end. And now that I have more area to work with, this feels like it's going better already. I'm in frame for you guys. Going right here. The base of this might be slightly too large, and I might, without a doubt, be gluing this bad. So that is gone. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna get the contact that it needs. Yeah, I'm gonna say my wick probably isn't getting in there well. Not without touching other components. So I don't think I can just try to get lucky and use wick to get all the solder. Chip quick could work. It is surface mounted. If I clean my iron tip and I only have chip quick on it and then I touch these, maybe that does what I need it to. But I am running out of ideas. I'm gonna stop filming and think about this more.
After chewing it over for a while, I settled on using low melt solder to remove the switches. I figured it'd be best to just start by removing the broken switch, so this way I have a chance to figure out if this would melt any other switch that I try to get. I apparently also decided to get that small component just above it. No clue what that thing is, but it's been missing for 3 days now, so I think we can just assume it really wasn't that important. Once everything was removed, I got to try my new flux and my new wick. Seriously, like a massive improvement, and this made my life so much easier. Getting the donor switch was just more of the same. I just let the low melt solder do the work while I managed to spread it to the other component yet again. So to the untrained eye, this might look like a skill issue, but it's actually a symptom of the global impact of eating soggy toast under a bed of beans. If you pay close attention to all of my successful repairs, you'll actually find no beans on toast at any point in the videos, which I'm pretty sure is all the proof that we need. After our successful operation, I figured I may as well clean up the donor board as I could probably use the practice. The new materials are seriously so much better. I'll link them below for those who are curious, but it's Chemtronics Wick and MG Chemicals Flux. Shout out to the several comments that told me I need to get better flux and wick. Now I just need someone to tell me how to deal with the ribbon cables in this thing, and maybe I can make a good video. With our replacement parts pulled, I just had to prep them to be installed. Since I used low melt, I had to start off by wicking that since it's not suitable for soldering and just shouldn't be mixed with solder that you're going to leave on the board. I just taped the components down with some heat resistant tape and took my time wicking them clean without damaging any of the plastic in the switch. I expected this to go like really terrible, but it was surprisingly easy, which I assume means that I should not have done this, since I prefer to struggle with every step of the repair process. You know, the very reason I'm working on these parts to begin with. We're finally ready to get these installed. I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Yeah, the top left pad is torn, but I still have plenty of space to solder on, so we ball. First, I fluxed and tinned the pads. Beautifully done, if you ask me. I decided to start with our mystery friend to the north since I wasn't sure how to best solder him in. I tried my iron first, but that didn't really seem to be working out for me. Rather than my normal routine of trying this for half an hour and wondering why it didn't improve, I just used my hot air to get it seated. And then once it was in there, I decided I wanted to have some more solder on the sides, and then I gave him a funny little hat. Then I remembered that bald is beautiful, and I wicked the hat off. Okay, now for the switch. The switch has alignment pegs on the bottom to kind of idiot-proof it a bit. I'm glad they knew that was coming. I couldn't really get it seated right with the solder on the pads though, so I wicked that off. I think since the board is pretty warm, we can probably put some trust in the iron to get us good contact. To start, I just tacked one leg in place to ensure he doesn't go moving on me, and then I slowly went around and I soldered leg by leg. Normally, I just drop flux on every leg all at once, and then I follow behind with my iron all at once. But I realized lately that I need to slow down and I need to watch the board a little bit closer. I feel like this really helped with keeping control while I worked. That being said, I think these joints look like BBs and I do not love it. I spent a while looking at the board and they look solid enough to me. I'm probably wrong about that though.
We're just about done with reassembly. I need to get the adhesive back on these feet that go on the bottom, because that came off. Or I took it off, or I don't even remember anymore. I don't know. It's not on there anymore. How about that? All we need is some double-sided tape. I don't need much here. In theory. In practice, on the other hand, do not get excited. Immediately got excited. Did you see that? Did you see how excited I was? That was terrible. Okay. All right. Nope, that did not happen the way I wanted it to. I did remove the tape. So now, then watch this drive. Boom. I'll tell you what, I'm perfectly okay with that. I mean, what are we trying to prove here, really? Huh? That I can tape things? I mean, look, have you guys ever watched the channel? Okay. I mean, joking aside, it might be your first time. If so, I'm so sorry you found this. Okay. Let's just find a way to get this one taped into place. Oh, you guys probably didn't get a chance to see that. Well, I did. If that was out of frame, I'm so sorry. I'll fill you in. So, I cut it perfectly to size, got it exactly centered. There were parades, you know. My honor, you can imagine. A float had my face on it. Only the face, though. They realized not even the Greeks could match my physique. I'll do this one in frame. And any moment now, this will drop in just like that. That's what's up. Yeah, so I mean, it was kind of like that. But then there was cheering, you know? Okay, so that feels fine. And I should have checked all this first. That feels perfectly fine as well. Excuse me. You have confused yourself. Okay, fine. Fine. But look, the cheering thing really did happen. I just wanted to show you guys why they were cheering. So, that's why I let this one fall off. There we go. Oh, look at that. I told you they cheered. I guess it's time. I don't want to do this. Sound works. D-pad works, A button works, B button works. The colors look good. I don't see any of the whitening on the edge that's not supposed to be there. I mean, the bottom screen maybe is a little bit more yellowed than the top, but I'm okay with that. Okay. And now power button still works. I guess I should calibrate the touchscreen or whatever. Is that what we're supposed to do next? Guys? No.
For those of you that don't know, the screen isn't calibrating on the bottom, which likely means that the digitizer itself is damaged. I did test the screen before it was installed, to be very clear. It did work. So this is like a skill issue. I did something. I don't know what I did, but I did something, and here we are. Maybe a cable's not seated correctly. Maybe I damaged it. There is a pretty big air bubble between the screen protector and the screen itself, so that could be it too. Either way, I was like totally burnt out on this device and had no interest in disassembling it yet again.
Well, your boy's a failure. And I'm tired of messing with this. I have done something terribly wrong. You guys can tell me how much I sucked down in the comment section below. But that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. And if you would like to see others that have nothing to do with the DS, and I actually fixed the console, consider subscribing. I will see you guys in the next video.